Hello and welcome to the Atlantic Water Network presentation on what is data management. This presentation has been adapted from the United States Geological Survey's data management training resources, which can be found at the link below. For this presentation, we will begin by defining what data management is. We will then discuss the science data lifecycle and how it applies to data management, and then we will discuss why data management matters and who is involved in the data management process. So, to begin, let's first define what data management is. Data management is the development, execution, and supervision of plans, policies, programs, and practices that control, protect, deliver, and enhance the value of data and information assets. The two key takeaways from this are 1. The data management should be defined and solidified by specific plans and policies within your organization, and 2, the data should be seen as an asset, which your organization creates and is then in charge of protecting and developing. One way to visualize how data management plays a role in your projects and your organization is through the science data lifecycle. As can be seen from the diagram, the first step in this is planning. While part of this is planning what data will be collected and how, both encapsulated in the acquire stage, it is also important to plan how the data will be dealt with for the rest of its life cycle once it returns to the office. Once this plan has been put in place, your organization will then acquire this data and return to the office where it will be processed. This could mean typing values into an Excel spreadsheet, photocopying field sheets, or filing sheets. This is often one of the more time-consuming and frustrating parts of data management. However, once this has finally been completed, the data can then be analyzed to see what sorts of information can be gleaned from it. Following this, the data should then be preserved, preferably in multiple places, and finally shared. What we see is that most groups are excellent at the first stages regarding planning and acquiring of data, but from there the quality of data management in the lifecycle falls off. One way to help prevent this is to ensure that all aspects of the data lifecycle are discussed and planned for in the planning phase. While that covers the top of the data science lifecycle, there are also 3 arrows that pass through the entire lifecycle. The reason for this is that these ideas should be incorporated and thought of through all of the stages. For the first arrow, describe, this means that your organization should be keeping good documentation throughout the whole process so that others who come after you or take over where you left off can understand your thought process. Quality should also be managed throughout the whole process. This means that quality assurance and quality control, also known as QA/QC, should not be left until the very end, but rather it should be evaluated continually. This will help to reduce the number of things that fall through the cracks and will prevent one person from having to shoulder all of the work for this at the end. Finally, continuous backing up and securing of files should be practiced. Nothing is worse than being in the middle of a project and losing all of your work. This is especially tough if we view data as an asset with monetary value that has now been lost to your organization. For many organizations, there's a lot of work put into the planning and implementation of project management. While there are some aspects of data management that fall into this, namely the project purpose and the general data management, there are many other aspects of data management that are separate from a project-to-project basis. These then should be incorporated in a separate data management plan and should apply not only to the specific projects your organization completes, but also in the day-to-day workings within your organization. With all that being said, why does data management matter? One of the first major reasons is that it helps reduce costs. By planning ahead and putting good policies in place, there can be less time spent reinventing the wheel or trying to amalgamate multiple data management structures from multiple actors across your organization. This can often prove timely and can lead to the potential loss of data. Data management also ensures the best return on investment as it reduces the costs and time required to record, save, and share data. As mentioned before, data is an asset that your organization owns. While many research have tried to monetize the value of data, they have often found that it is proven to be invaluable. Meaning that if you go out today and record a temperature value, then lose that data, it is lost forever and can be never retrieved again. It will now be impossible to go back to that point in time and record that same data point. Data management also increases your organization's data transparency. By having a set data plan, others can see where the data has come from and how it got to where it is today. This includes any review or QA/QC processes. Finally, by having a data management plan, you can increase the use of your data outside of your organization. Being able to show others the quality and process of your data can help them to trust that it is valid. Additionally, a good data management plan can ensure that the data you are producing follows a specific format so that others can more easily use your data. By increasing access to your data, this in turn increases the value of your data by increasing the number of people that rely on it and the number of ways in which it is being used. As was mentioned, one of the most time-consuming and frustrating parts of data collection is the processing of data. This is summarized well in the 80-20 science dilemma, which states that 80% of a scientist's effort is spent discovering, acquiring, documenting, transforming, and integrating data, whereas only 20% of the effort is devoted to more intellectually stimulating pursuits such as analysis, visualization, and making new discoveries. This definition is proposed by Bill Meichner, one of the principal investigators at DataOne, which is a community-driven organization that promotes best practices in data management through responsive educational resources and material. If you would like more information, it can be found at their website at dataone.org. Now that we have an understanding on what data management is, we can discuss who is involved in ensuring good data management is followed. The three main actors in this are data collectors, data stewards, and managers and directors. Data collectors are those who are actually in the field working to collect the data and can often be the ones who then process this data upon return to the office. These are the people that have the best knowledge of the data as they were the ones in the field when it was collected. This means that they can help verify an unusual reading, such as a high turbidity, by providing on-scene information, such as a collapsed bank just upstream. Because of this, it is important that we get as much information from these actors as possible. In many organizations, these can be volunteers or summer students, so it is important to provide these people with the necessary resources, whether it be through field sheets or training, to ensure that they are getting the information required. Next are the data stewards. Data stewards are those in charge of maintaining the data and ensuring that it is stored correctly. While these actors can be the same people as the data collectors, it is important that there is a distinction between these two roles, as data stewards should have a separate set of policies, procedures, and training dedicated to their specific role. Finally, we have the managers and directors. Managers and directors are those that are responsible for overseeing the projects and programs implemented at the organization. They also have other administrative roles and are tasked with securing and using funding. While these actors don't have a direct role in the data management process, they should be ensuring that proper data management policies exist and are being implemented. While some organizations may have individual people working each of these roles distinctly, others may have multiple people working multiples of these roles. Regardless of this, it is important to understand that these are all vital roles in the process of data management and each require unique planning and unique policies. Here's the data science lifecycle, only now with the various roles outlined where they fit into the process. As you can see, the data collector is the most involved in the process. This makes sense as they have the greatest knowledge of the data. The data steward is then charged with ensuring the continuity of this data for years to come. Both of these parties are involved in the planning stage as they have complementary and overlapping roles. That concludes our presentation on what is data management. For more information, check out the USGS website, DataOne, or the Atlantic Water Network's presentation on data management plans.